Hi, this is Allan Arkush on Trailers from Hell. If forced to name my favorite director, well, I couldn't do it. But in the top 5 would be Howard Hawks. He's the first director of old movies that my daughters really liked. I started them on Bringing Up Baby, and between the leopard and the dog and the dinosaur bone, they were thoroughly entertained. They really surprised me by how much they liked Rio Bravo. They watched it over and over again. And they'd bring over friends and watch Hatari point to the screen and said, "My dad says that's a real rhinoceros, not a CGI animal." And for sleepovers, well, the movie entertainment was often Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. But there's one Hawks movie that, in a very personal way, I love above all others. It was introduced to me by gurus John Davison and Joe Dante back in the early 70s on a 16mm print. It's the most Hawksian of all his movies. Hawksian is one of those French film critics' adjectives for Only Angels Have Wings. I love movies that take place in a rarefied Hollywood universe. I love movies with lots of fog and chiaroscuro lighting, miniatures, glass shots, and matte paintings, all trying their hardest to convince me that yes, this country of Baranca and Only Angels Have Wings really exist. Hawks claims this is his most realistic movie, probably because the two main characters are based on a pair of longtime friends. Yes, the flyer and the showgirl really did exist. That's what gives this film its special feel, the tension between the romanticized, fanciful world where it takes place and its truthful, pragmatic characters. As he started to prep the picture, Hawks met and fell in love with Nancy Gross, a stylish, independent woman that everyone called Slim. She is the real-life counterpart of the Hawksian woman. The 8 years that they were together were the period of his greatest continual artistic and box office success. Jean Arthur gives a terrific performance, but ironically, Hawks and her did not hit it off. She couldn't take his direction, and their collaboration was a struggle. 10 years after the picture was finished, she showed up at his door to tell him that he had been right, that she finally understood what this woman was about. 10 years after that, with a little auteurist inspiration, he gave some of her dialogue to Angie Dickinson in Rio Bravo. But it's Cary Grant's picture. He is the uncompromising leader of this band of flyers who must carry nitroglycerin and the mail through narrow, perpetually fogged-in mountain passes populated by giant condors. Nothing is bigger or more important than the job at hand. Heroism is the accepted norm, as is death, and neither deserve undue comment. A gorgeous 21-year-old Rita Hayworth plays the other woman. Thomas Mitchell gives one of his best performances as Cary Grant's best friend and right-hand man. His death scene is beautifully underplayed and truly tragic. What it comes right down to for me is that I want to live in this movie. I want to live in Baranca. I want to take off from a mountaintop and plummet thousands of feet till my airplane can gather enough speed to catch air and fly. I want to be on the tarmac of that fog-enshrouded airport when a foolish flyer named Joe wants to land so they can share a steak with Jean Arthur. Cary Grant tries to guide him in by the sound of his engine. It's a beautifully edited sequence. The tension is palpable. Flyer Joe takes a chance, overshoots the runway, only to crash and burn. Later, the men toast him, eat his steak, and solemnly pronounce, "Who's Joe?" Yes, it's a Hawksian world, and I really want to live in it.